Wow, Brock Lesnar coming back, that was definitely the highlight for the show. And Becky Lynch also as well. Nice to see both. And I feel like they did this on purpose because CM Punk returned at AEW. So they tried to come back. They so desperately had to bring back two people that haven't really been on the show in quite some time. And I think that was their way to try to take a shot at AEW to try to get back. But none of the returns really compared to the pop CM Punk guy once he arrived at AEW Rampage this past Friday. So I think that's what they were really trying to do, or what they were really trying to aim for their returns. But I have so many things to say in regards to Becky Lynch's return. But once we saw the results for Roman Reigns beating John Cena, it just always leaves that question: who's going to be next? Who's going to be that next competitor? Who's going to step up to be the next competitor to challenge for the Universal Championship? Because he's already beaten everybody on SmackDown, and it's like they're challenging him and just only to lose and then never to be seen again and then never to be able to compete for a championship opportunity again. It's just so many things like that. And it's awesome to see Brock Lesnar return. He looks so different, and I hope that he takes the championship away and end his reign. And no more of this, of the Usos getting involved with the bloodline and all that. Let the Usos be their own individual tag team stable. It's going on long enough, which I definitely have to say. And I'm just ready for somebody else to be a champion now. And I'm glad Brock Lesnar is going to come back, is back now, and now he's going to be able to come back and seize the championship. At least I hope they do, or hope they let them and they have him beat him. Because if he beats Brock Lesnar, then there's definitely not going to be anybody else left to compete. But I have a couple things I want to talk about in regards to Becky Lynch just coming back to take the championship, and the way they did Bianca Belair. I just feel so bad for her, and I'm just, as nice as it is to see Becky Lynch make her return after all this, a surprise return. I'll just get into it when I get to the match. But what happened to Sasha Banks? That also is my question. I don't know what's going on with her. She was supposed to compete tonight. But let's get to the kickoff show. We'll get in. I'm just gonna run through some of these matches because you already know some of these people are gonna win the matches. It's predictable. You can be able to look at a match and be able to pick a winner right off the bat, and that's what sometimes the matches that they put together on these match cards turn out to be. Like this one, for example, for the kickoff show, Becky Lynch versus Baron Corbin, who took the Money in the Bank. I was gonna say the Manny in the bank contract, the Money in the Bank contract briefcase, which is Big E's rightful contract that he won from the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And I feel like they just threw this out there so they can give him a match. I'm surprised he didn't cash in, but there was no really any perfect opportunity. So maybe down the line, maybe with the Brock Lesnar situation with Roman Reigns, maybe that would be a good time to cash in. But I guess we'll see what their plan is for Big E if he's successful, if they let him be. But Big E ended up beating Baron Corbin, obviously, and it's just so predictable when you see matches like this. So I'm not sure what they're really trying to do with Baron Corbin and in regards to his character and whatnot. So it's just pure entertainment now. But that was the only kickoff match. We always have our usual one match to lead us into the main show. And to kick off the main show, to kick off SummerSlam, AJ Styles and Omos defending their Raw Tag Team Championships against RK Bro, which is Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. I really like this stable, and it's like the unlikeliest of duels to say. Just like Daniel Bryan, who used to be in the WWE, Daniel Bryan and Kane, which was one of my favorite unlikely duels for tag team champions. So I see RK Bro, even though they're reunited, eventually they'll probably end up breaking up once they lose the tag team championships. I'm not sure how long they're going to probably end up keeping them, but I'm sure they're going to have them for quite some kind of while before they end up dropping the titles. I'm not sure if AJ Styles is going to stay in the tag team division, or is he going to stay with Omos? Is Omos going to be his own singles competitor, which I think he can probably be, because he's already a dominant competitor in the ring anyway, just being a big guy like that in the ring. So RK Bro ended up becoming the new Raw Tag Team Champions. I'm not sure if they're going to they don't even do rematch clauses anymore. So I just hate to say it, but just when you look at the Raw Tag Team division, there's not many other competitors. Who's going to challenge them next? The Viking Raiders or the War Raiders? the War Raiders is their original name from NXT. They still are the War Raiders to me. Who else is going to challenge them? Or maybe some other tag teams might come along, but unless AJ Styles goes back to singles competitor, he doesn't even need to be in the tag team division. He needs to get back into that title opportunity and compete for that WWE Championship. It would be cool to see that. But I guess this was the only title that he didn't really get a chance to hold in comparison to everything else. But this other match, now that we have RK Bro, the Bros now, the new tag team championships, the new tag team champions per se for Raw. This other match, this doesn't really need to be on the match card. Eva Marie doesn't really have any in-ring ability. I think they should have waited for her return. They brought her back too fast, and I didn't want to see this match. But Alexa Bliss, carrying on that Bray Wyatt legacy, she's doing really good with her character. It's scary, it's interesting, and it never gets old. And then that creepy doll, Lily, looking all scary, it's really good. I really like the way they put this together. But Alexa Bliss ended up beating Eva Marie, and Doudrop was out there on the ringside to accompany her. But it seems like they're going to break up their friendship now, because Doudrop didn't even bother to assist Eva Marie, which I thought she was probably going to try to get involved in the match and help Eva Marie win. But this Evolution mess that they're doing with this storyline, I think it needs to go. She needs to go back and train and be able to get some in-ring ability. It seems like they just let it drag on, and now we get to see her competing at SummerSlam, but she barely did anything in this match. So I wasn't even interested in seeing this. So it was nice to see Alexa Bliss win. But let's get to the next match. The United States Championship being defeated from Sheamus defending the United States Championship against Damian Priest. I knew Damian Priest was going to end up winning this match. So it was obvious, pretty good match and all. But I think he's going to have a good, decent title reign for this United States Championship. I'm not sure who's going to probably end up challenging him next. Maybe Ricochet might want a shot at it. Maybe John Morrison, and maybe some others might end up competing. John Morrison deserves a championship still to this day, I think. But I guess we'll see what happens, and maybe he'll bring back the United States Open Challenge that they used to do every week. At least from when it was, I kept on thinking the United States Championship was on Friday nights, for Friday Night SmackDown. Well, now on to a new championship, SmackDown Tag Team Championships being defended by the Usos to take on the Mysterios, Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio. I thought the Mysterios were going to end up winning to get back at the Usos, but they got to complete that bloodline. They got to keep the bloodline together. So, of course, they were going to already end up retaining for the Usos. A really good match. And it seemed like Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio were going to win. But that double kick and that splash, I guess that was it for Rey Mysterio. Now, this next match, so the Usos end up keeping their SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I have to say something for this. Bianca Belair was supposed to take on Sasha Banks tonight in a SmackDown Women's, Raw, a SmackDown Women's Championship match. Almost like a WrestleMania rematch, which I really enjoyed seeing them compete. And I think it was one of my favorite matches, seeing them really tear the house down and steal the show for the women's division. Bianca Belair was supposed to defend her championship tonight against Sasha Banks. What happened to Sasha Banks? I wonder what happened to her. Did she run into some safety protocols? Or did she have some kind of personal thing to attend to? I'm not sure what the deal is. I don't know if anyone else out there knows the situation with her. But Sasha Banks got replaced by Carmella originally. So Carmella's going to get another title shot, because we already seen this past Friday from Friday Night SmackDown, for Bianca Belair ended up taking on Carmella and Zelina Vega in a back-to-back match. And then the week prior, we saw her defend her championship against Carmella, and she already beat her. So we saw it back-to-back weekends, or back-to-back Fridays, for 2 weeks in a row for this situation. But then, all of a sudden, Becky Lynch came out. This was nice to see. But what I didn't like, I have to get into it, is how they played her. How they did Bianca Belair very dirty. I think that was very disrespectful, and it almost makes me think of how they treated Kofi Kingston. I think that was not fair. You guys build her up, have her win the Royal Rumble, and win the championship, go on to WrestleMania, win the championship, and then have her lose in no matter what, 26 seconds, less than a minute, not even a 5-minute match against a returning Becky Lynch who hasn't wrestled in over a year. Now, I think Becky Lynch shouldn't even be on SmackDown. It should have been Sasha Banks for this match, or it could have been anybody else. They could have gave I'll just throw it out there. Instead of Carmella, I would have threw out Liv Morgan for a championship opportunity. Where's she gonna get her shot? Where's she gonna get her shot at some point for a women's championship opportunity? But doing Bianca Belair like this, and her just building her up, she's one of the best things that's going on for the company right now. If not running for SmackDown for Friday nights, and then they just end up having her lose so quick and just do her dirty like that and snatch the title, and now Becky Lynch has it. Bianca Belair's not going to get that title opportunity again, and even if she does, she's not going to win. Becky Lynch should be on Monday Night Raw. I would have been cool with Becky Lynch coming up and showing up during that triple threat with Nikki, A.S.H, almost a superhero, with Rhea Ripley, but she's not a superhero. It's Nikki Cross still to me. It's still a cool little friendly gimmick, but Nikki Cross, she should have came back during that match. Or whoever's going to win that triple threat, Becky Lynch should have just came out during that Monday Night Raw, maybe that Monday Night Raw, or maybe during the match tonight after the triple threat, regardless of who won that belt for the Raw Women's Championship, she could have showed up there. But I feel like after all the superstars that they released, they got to bring some more people over there to SmackDown. So I think that's why they did it. But it makes me think of CM Punk all over again, because they had to bring somebody back to get a pop and have her win the championship. And I just feel so bad for Bianca Belair. I think she deserved a longer title reign, and I was scared this was going to happen. I said this when I was during when she won the Royal Rumble. I said, I am so scared of what they're going to do to Bianca Belair, and here it is. They pulled the trigger and decided to snatch the title away from Bianca Belair. I think that was my least favorite thing that I've seen from the entire show. I don't even care about this match. Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal. We already knew Drew McIntyre was going to win. And let's get into the Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair holding the title again. I didn't want to see this again. Nikki Cross won the Money in the Bank contract, and I think she deserved a little bit of a longer title reign. So it sucks for her and Rhea Ripley. Charlotte Flair's just going to be holding that championship. Asuka's out for a while, from what I'm hearing. I don't know who's going to step up to Charlotte Flair's championship now. And she's been winning every single championship. As great as she is, not taking anything away from her, there is so many other talented superstars in that locker room that they can utilize to get these championship opportunities. And that's just something I'm not liking. Charlotte Flair winning the Raw Women's Championship, I didn't want to see that. But I think the match of the show, or the match that stole the show, is Edge versus Seth Rollins, for sure. I really enjoyed this match. And I knew Edge was going to win, but his new Brood gimmick, it's pretty cool to really see that and bring that other side of him out. But it just leaves out the question, what's going to be next for Seth Rollins? Is he going to try to challenge for the championship? Is Edge going to try to come back and challenge for that Universal Championship now that he dealt with the guy who got in his way from winning the championship? It's just leaves so many questions. And I'm going to say this, I was a little nervous. It's Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg, but there was no pin, there was no pinfall, there was no submission or anything like that. They had to stop the match because Goldberg suffered a knee injury. And I think that's probably, maybe it's legit. And I don't know if anyone else noticed, he was bleeding a little bit on his forehead, a little bit, and then on his arms. Like, this is why they shouldn't bring certain legends. Goldberg shouldn't even be competing as great as he was for this WWE Championship. So I'm glad that Bobby Lashley ended up retaining his championship, just moving through the matches now. And I just don't know who's going to challenge for the WWE Championship now, for Bobby Lashley's title. Drew McIntyre had his chance, and we already knew once Goldberg, I'm just glad that he did not win. Goldberg just taking the title from Bobby Lashley, I think that would have did the show even worse. And then just having keep that show, just like they did to Bray Wyatt, just like they did to Fiend. The Fiend lost to Goldberg, and then Goldberg got the championship, and that's when Roman showed up and beat Goldberg for the championship. It was just so crazy. But now we're going to move on to the main event. Roman Reigns versus John Cena, this match just really dragged on. But they always do this. Cena get beat up through the match, all the time during the match. Then he tries to come back, and then I was thinking that the Usos would come out, but they seem like they set it up for Roman Reigns to beat John Cena clean, which was pretty cool to see. But even better, I'm tired of seeing him as the champion now. Let's get somebody else. We got somebody that's back now. Another return with Brock Lesnar. So I'm cool with him coming back. I just hope that he take that title away from Roman Reigns so that we can get a new title, and then we can shut the head of the table down. And no more of this bloodline. The stable that they continue to put together over and over and over, at least from the matches. It's time for new champions. It's time for new opportunities for these superstars. I wish they would utilize their talent, and that's why most of these superstars are leaving. And even if they get released, they're going to AEW to be better so they can shine and they can do what they want to do instead of just being dragged onto a show. Like, you graduated from a show from NXT, and I'm just afraid for superstars like Adam Cole. Like, he's going to go on to Monday Night Raw if he doesn't get released, because his contract's probably going to be running out soon. And he's not going to be able to become a champion. Look what they did to Aleister Black. Aleister Black was supposed to be a champion. It would have been cool to see him get some championship opportunities. But they had him lose and not really do much of anything with his character, and now he's on AEW shining. Characters like Ricochet could probably go over there and be able to get a shine on. And other superstars that they have in the locker room. But my highlight is Edge versus Seth Rollins. I think that's the best match of the show. It's nice to see Becky Lynch and Brock Lesnar return. Some cool little highlights. But I just don't agree with the way that they really just squashed Bianca Belair, and I just feel so bad for her. I just wonder what she's thinking now. It's like you just gotta think about how they built her up, had her go on, win the Royal Rumble, go out to WrestleMania, get the championship, and then just to get destroyed in a matter of seconds. And you didn't even put up a fight. You didn't even come off as a fighting champion. You got dominated, and you didn't even stand a chance. Like, it's understandable. It's a shocking return, but let her be a fighting champion. It's like the championship that she was holding was meaningless. Well, that's all I'm going to say for now. But we'll just see what happens. And I'm just glad Brock Lesnar is back, and I hope he takes the championship.